live webinar. I'm Emmy Lou, and you can call me Ems for short. And joining me this afternoon also, who is a nurse and a product specialist of BMEG. Let's welcome Alvin.
Hello, everybody. My name is Elvin, and thank you for attending our webinar today.
Okay, our topic is take the pressure off from patients and nurses. Who doesn't have any pressure? We have all pressure from work, from our family, from our friends, or maybe your girlfriend and boyfriend. Nurses also got pressure. Pressure, like for example, turning their patients and meeting the requirements of their patient needs. That's why we are showcasing Lateral turner, who is the Toto, who can help their patients turning automatically every 2 hours. And also, we want to take off the pressure from our patients who are bedbound and also immobile, who needs also to take the pressure off by turning manually. We want to prevent. We do not want any pressure injury or pressure ulcer to be developed. Okay? But before I go to the interventions, we should know the definition of pressure ulcer. What's the cause of pressure ulcer? By the way, I have three parts of this live webinar. First is the definition of the pressure injury. Second would be the demo by Alvin of the Toto and the Curocell. And lastly, the Q&A sessions of all our audiences. By the way, I would like to know to all our audiences and all the viewers out there, may I know where you from? Can you comment down section where you from so we would can greet you and say hi to all of you to take time of this attending our live webinar. What country are you in? The Singapore, Malaysia? Let us know, okay? But before that, to proceed with my slides presentation, I just want you to sit back and relax and hope you get to learn something from this. Without further ado, I start my slides presentation. Next, please. We need to understand and also the definition of the pressure injury. And also, what are the risk factors we need to detect and use an assessment tool of the pressure injury? And also, how to perform skin pressure injury care bundle. Okay? So, what is the definition of pressure injury? When we say pressure injury, it means that there is a localized damage on the skin. There is a related pressure on it. Okay? You must remember that a pressure injury must be over a bony prominences. Okay? And there should be a related to medical device. What are those? If your patient is under NGT tube, if your patient also under urine catheter and also nasal prong, it can also be pressure injury. And when there is a combination of shear forces and friction also. Remember that patients got different individual or different tolerance into microclimate and also nutrition and perfusion. As you can see, there is a 6 types of pressure injury. Stage 1, Stage 2, Stage 3, 4, DTI, or unstageable. Stage 1 is what we call redness. Redness, when you touch, we say it like the blanchable and non-blanchable. When you touch the skin and it comes back to the original color of the skin, it's what you call blanchable. And when you press the skin and it doesn't come back to the original color, it's what you call non-blanchable. Okay? Stage 4 is when there is a muscle related, the tendons and the bones are affected, which means this is worst layer already. This is really affected the pressure injury. DTI, short form of deep tissue injury, wherein there is a damage. really damage of the tip tissue. And when you say unstageable, which means there is a cell death, there is a necrotic tissue, which means you need to debride it to see what is the underlying surface there and what causes it under granulating subcutaneous tissue. Okay, next slides, please. What is the cause of pressure injury? As you can see, if you are ambulatory, if the patient are walking, we don't have any problem of pressure injury. But when the patient is lying flat under a hard surface, bedbound, immobile, so there would be a friction against the surface and also a pressure hard surface, then it can lead to pressure injury. Okay? Slides, please. This is how can a pressure injury occur. When the normal capillary, we say it that there's a pressure 12 to 32 mmHg. Okay? And if there is a prolonged intensive pressure on the arteries and blood vessels with a causative agent of the combination of shear forces, it can occur the pressure injury. There is an increased chance of pressure injury. Okay? Next slides, please. Okay, so when you call it the development of the pressure injury, when the bony prominences areas exert a pressure which is more than 32 mmHg, which means it reached to a level that disrupt already the blood flow and there is not sufficient enough oxygen supply and nutrients. Remember that a continuous pressure of more than 70 mmHg, there is a reversible tissue damage within 2 hours. Okay? Next slides, please. Oh, this is very interesting. The pressure injury. What are the risk factors? As you can see, there is 2 categories of risk factors. This would be the tissue tolerance and the pressure. But under the tissue tolerance, we are intrinsic factors, which is internal, and extrinsic factors, which is external. Under the intrinsic factors are the chronic illness. If your patient is stroke, having a muscular disease, it can affect and also internally. Nutrition, if your patient got a skin integrity. Demographic, it is involve the vulnerable group, which are the geriatric and all the elderlies. Okay, and also the skin temperature can be the cause and also oxygen delivery. While the extrinsic factors externally is the shear forces, especially when your patient is sitting, back sitting, it can lead to shear forces and also affect moisture and also friction because when you're moving your patient up and down and rubbing the skin, it is the friction and it also can affect and cause pressure injury. While in the pressure, if your patient is got an impaired sensory perception, patient cannot tell, patient cannot feel, so it can affect and have an impaired sensory perception, and it can also lead to impaired mobility and also impaired activity of the patient. There is a nerve affected. Okay, slides please. Okay, this is the assessment tool. How we detect. Early detection is very, very important, and this tool will help you the 6 areas to know and the assessment of pressure ulcer. 6 areas are the sensory perception, moisture, activity, there is the mobility, and friction and shear. Okay, so when the patient got this Braden score, which they use it as an assessment tool, and it's like 16, less than 16, and it has a moderate and high risk of developing a pressure ulcer. Okay, remember that Braden scale. Okay, so of course, when you see the common site of pressure injury, you would see where are the bony prominences, where is this in your shoulder blades, and also your sacrum area. When your patient is sitting, sacrum are the most common area. Remember that your ischial tuberosity and also all these bony prominences. This is really very obvious to see where can develop the pressure injury. Okay, next slides, please. Okay, remember, prevention is a better than cure. Of course, with the early detection and doing the right proper assessment, we can prevent pressure ulcer. And remember that is very, very costly if a patient develop a pressure ulcer. If we can prevent it, please. Okay? So we move on to the skin pressure injury. There is also 6 areas to take a look onto skin injury care bundle, and it's a very, very important for us to take note. Okay, let's proceed for the first is skin. From the word skin, is skin inspection is very important. This is from head to toe assessment of the redness of any discoloration. Once you see redness on your patient, it will alarm you that it can be the start of the pressure ulcer. Inspect the skin. It's very, very important. So you have to see if there's a change in dressing every 3 days. You need to change it to reassess again. Next would be again skin infection, especially if your patient having a related medical device. If your patient is having an incontinence with a urine catheter, it is very, very important to inspect every shift, especially when your patient is NGT or anything attached to the body is very important to really check. The redness is the very important, is the first sign of a pressure injury related. And if there's an splint, don't forget to reassess and do it every 2 hourly, okay? Oh, I would like to give Alvin the floor because he is expert on this support surface. Let's give it up to Alvin.
Hi everybody. So to talk more about the support surface, the second S in the skin bundle. So initiating of support surfaces such as pressure relieving mattress, patient relieving hoist, sliding sheet, and or seat cushion on patients. Also, do apply prophylactic dressing to high risk pressure point, heel protectors, and offloading of pressure areas. Also, do ensure that patients do not lie around or sit on tubings or drains. So, support surfaces, as I've mentioned, pressure relieving mattress is air mattress, which a demo will be shown later on after the slide presentation. So moving on to the keep moving section, we'll be repositioning every 2 hourly and also using wedges or pillow for supporting of patient. We do use lifting sheet to lift patient, so prevent more friction and shear on patient while lifting patients or transferring patient. Also limit head of bed at 30 degrees or lesser, and also do have to monitor the duration of patient sitting up. So for example, patients without any existing pressure injury, they will be safe to sit for not more than 2 hours, while patient already with existing pressure injury to be sit out of bed for less than an hour, including with the help of pressure relieving cushion, elevating of legs, and also reclining the chair to 30 degrees. So for this part of the section, it would refer to the Toto lateral tunnel, which demo will be shown later on. So moving on, shall pass back to Ems to continue the slides.
Okay. Okay. Regarding the incontinence, we should remember also the pH level of the patient, especially when it's in a perianal, to balance the pH. Of course, less than 6 would be acidic. So we need to clean and take note to always keep the area dry and use a zinc oxide or any cream that will help to protect the skin of the patients. Okay, next slides, please. Incontinence also when the patient is under maybe Plaxicil or anal plug. Plaxicil must replace after 29 days, and Plaxicil and the anal plug would be 6 to 8 hours. We should reassess and check again and again, so we would know if it's damaging already to the skin of our patients. Okay, reassessment is very important. Of course, nutrition will be play an important part, because if the patient is malnourished, you need to reassess, because if the patient is malnourished and also having malnutrition, maybe we can refer it to dietitian to further evaluate, maybe needs another supplement or any TPN. It is very important. Nutrition. Okay. And of course, being a nurse, if you are a nurse, you know that is very important. When your patient will be discharged, you need to educate them, okay? To let them know what are the pros and cons of pressure injury to the patient, and the um, long effect or the long term effect of this. So education, re-educate the NOK or the relatives will play a big part of this. Okay, next slides, please. This is where the hospital will give to all the relatives, so they can understand and know what will be the intervention that they need to prevent and do when they are discharged and already at home, doing the management of the pressure ulcer. Okay, I think this is my last slide of the presentation. As you can see, 95% of pressure injury can be preventable. When you see redness, stop. So we should assess and think about it, and also know that it is the start of the pressure ulcer. Okay, I'm excited because the second part will be the demo of Alvin of our Toto Curocell alternating mattress, and will help our nurses and patients. Let's go, Alvin!
Hello everyone, I'm Alvin, and today I'll be discussing more about the Toto lateral turning system as well as the Curocell CX16. So as this name suggests, for the Toto lateral turning system, it is basically a patient turner that helps turn patients to either side of it automatically. And as for this Curocell CX16, which is this thing on top, is the air mattress. I'm pretty sure my guests today, you are all pretty familiar with the term air mattress. So taking a look at the platform itself, as you can see, the thing below is the Toto lateral turning, and the thing on top is the air mattress. So starting off with the air mattress, as you can feel the mattress cover, it is made of this PU cover is built to resist a high concentration level of chlorine. And as well as coming over to this side, you can see the Care of Sweden, the air mattress Curocell CX16 has a cable management on top, and as you can see, it is very neat and there's not a lot of wires dangling around. So it also helps enhance the safety. Patients do not trip on it, or other patients walking around would not trip on it as well. So maybe I can start off with presenting more to you on how to use the pump for the Toto lateral turning. So by turning it on, simply just press on it for 3 seconds and it will turn on. Once turned on, it will automatically be set to these settings on default. So let me explain more about this at the left. The first button on the left, it shows left and right, which means patient will be turned to the left and right automatically according to time. Pressing one time will go to the right, pressing one time will go to the left, and back here would be patient will be turned automatically. So for inflict time, as you can see, 30, 60, 120, 180, 240. So it will be set to 120 minutes by default. Of course, you can change the time for inflict from 30 minutes all the way to 240 minutes. But what does inflict time means? It means the time patient that will be spent turning to either the left side or the right side. Moving on, for the next one would be the rest time. So likewise, rest time would mean supine position. You can set the time that patients want to spend in supine position, either 30 minutes all the way up to 240 minutes. Lastly, for this, it's the mute button. So it happens when the pump detects air leak and they will show it, the alarm will ring. So simply pressing this would mute it. Long pressing it would also help to lock the button as well. So just by pressing a long button, by pressing other buttons, it wouldn't work as well. So it would be good to lock to prevent people or patient accidentally changing the settings that you have already set. So long pressing it would also deactivate the lock button itself. And back to the Curocell CX16 would be starting from the left. There will be an alternating pressure, the pulsating feature, and the constant low pressure. By default, it will be on the pulsating feature. So as what does alternating and what does pulsating means? So alternating means for our Curocell CX16s, it comes in a 1 in 3 air cell, meaning for every 3 air cells, it works in groups of 3 air cells. So 2 of them would be fully inflated and 1 of them would be deflated to up to about 25 to about 75%. So you can feel the difference in pressure. And as for the pulsating feature, it would means that likewise for that, it works in groups of 3. But for the one that would be slightly deflated, it will be deflated accordingly to the patient's weight. So yes, we do have an automatic weight detection for this. And the last one would be the constant low pressure. It means constant low pressure of the 3 air cells, of all the air cells. And moving to the max would means fully inflating the maximum pressure for all of the air cells. Coming over to the timer button, it will be a cycle setting, meaning for the constant, for the alternating and the pulsating feature, the slightly deflated one would take around 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and so on to deflate accordingly. As for this, it will means the pressure button, meaning if you want more pressure, simply just increase by 1 or by 2, and then the pressure will be increased. Moving back all the way to the left, likewise for the Toto turner, if it detects any air leaks, likewise pressing this would mute all the button, and pressing this would means unlock and allowing you to choose other functions. So the last button would means the pack and go, which means pressing that would means fully deflating the air mattress itself. So after all this, let's take a look back overall. So now you can finally see that patient is being turned to the side. As you can see, it's tilted sideways now. This is the job of our Toto lateral turner. It's responsible for turning to the patient to the side. And as you can see, it will take quite some time, about 30 seconds to a minute, to turn patients sideways. So it is built to be a very seamless and a gradual process to turn patients sideways, as we want patient to have maximum comfort with minimal disturbance while turning. It will be very quiet and likewise very slow. Of course, after describing how its patient is being turned sideways, how do patient turn back to supine position? Simply just turn it off as well. Long pressing it would turn it off. So patient would slowly be back to the supine position. So yes, okay, patient, you guys will be wondering, during emergency situation when you need patients back in supine position, how do you do that? Both of them, both the Toto lateral turner and the Curocell CX16 has a CPR function that simply releasing it would allows patient to be back in supine position within a minute, especially with patient's weight and the nurses or first aid responders immediately jumping on the bed to perform CPR on the patient itself. So with that aside, I finished my demonstration for both the Toto lateral turner and Curocell CX16. If you do have any questions, please type your question in the chat box and I will try my best to answer all the questions that you have on. Thank you very much, guys, for your kind attention. Thank you.
Hi, welcome back. Yes, thank you so much, Albin, for your demo of Toto and Curacell. Come and join me, Alvin, after your demo. And let's start. We have our third part of our live webinar, which we need to all your Q&A or your questions we need to answer. Okay, so let's begin. There is a question from Jane Reyes. Okay, Jane Reyes, how do we deal with ick? Can individual cell be replaced, or must the whole mattress be changed whenever there's a problem?
Okay, so how do we deal with air leak? Most of the time, the air cells would be the one that causes the air leaks for all other air mattresses. So to replace, so how do we fix the issue for the air leak would be, we'll just replace, we will open up and check which air cells are the one responsible for the air leaks. And after that, if we found just one of the air cells to be responsible for the air leak, we would just replace the individual air cells to do. It doesn't have to replace the whole mattress or either replace it in group of trees or whatnot. Just the individual air cells will do so. So
Yes.
another question that I saw would be that can I use an existing air mattress I have with the Toto turner, or must both items be purchased as a set? So yes, Toto toner can be used together with existing air mattress. It can also be purchased as a set. It works well with other foam mattress. Other usual normal mattresses would do as well. However, when using it with other air mattress, it do causes other the air cells to, it might cause other air cells to leak. So if purchased air mattresses are outside of us, we are not sure whether the warranty will cover for that as well. But if the air mattress is purchased from us, then our warranty do cover it if in the cases of air cells, if the causes a leak in the air cells. Yeah.
Alvin, I just want to add and tell to our viewers that we have we can provide preventive and maintenance, and we have our service team also that will help them whenever there is an issue of any leak. We'll support them and just let us know, and then we can see and assess what's happening and what's wrong with their units. Okay, so I see the next question, Alvin, is that is Toto suitable for home use?
Yep, definitely. Toto are definitely good for home use as well, both in the hospital settings as well as back at home. So it can work either ways.
Okay. Another from Jane Reyes. Do patients slide to one side when tilted? Will I need wedges or pillows to prevent patients from sliding and hitting the bed frame? Good question.
Okay, so this has been used in some hospitals and nursing home as well. So the feedback from using the Toto turner is that no, that patient do not slide down when it's tilted. When patients do make slight movement, they might roll in the direction that they are tilted to. So it's not sliding off. Patients do not slide gradually. So it works perfectly well when patients are in the coma or vegetative state. So they do not move, they will not slide. But if patients who do make slight movement or whatnot, it might cause patient to roll down if during the slightest movement.
Okay, another question from Corey Miguel. Thank you, Corey, for your question. If on emergency situations, can you help to demonstrate how to depress the CPR mode? Yes, we in emergency case, both Toto and Air Mattress had the CPR button, and it takes few seconds to activate the CPR mode. Yes. Okay. Next would be Yi Swan. When using the air mattress, does the pump need to be turned on the whole time? Will this lead to overheating if turned on for too long? Thank you, Yi Swan, for your question. Alvin?
Yeah, so the air mattress would be the pump will have to be turned on the whole duration. Turning it off will not inflate the air cells lah. So no, it won't cause overheating. It has been used in many other hospitals for quite a few number of years. So far it doesn't have an issue of overheating if turned on for too long. And okay, so yeah. Um,
Okay, another one, Alvin. You see the question again of each one. Can you read it? Help.
Okay, so from Ishan, another question was also how should we position the patients for them to be properly turned on by Toto? So the best way to position them for demonstrating the Toto would be simply just placing patients in the middle of the mattress. That will work perfectly for Toto lah. The turning for either sides would work best. So moving on to the next question. Does Toto come with a battery or must it be plugged in at all times? No, unfortunately it doesn't come with battery. Likewise, it goes by electricity. So you do have to plug it in at all times for the Toto to actually work.
Okay,
Yep.
there is a question also. Are you able to do a demo with someone on the bed? For now, because we are short of our time, but don't no problem because you can register on the scan QR code and we can schedule for you in person for the demo of the Toto in our showroom. Okay,
Yep.
Alvin will show you the first in-person demo of the Toto. Okay,
So
so
moving
don't
on.
forget to scan the QR code.
Yeah. Moving on, we have another questions from Shayon. Does it work with any hospital bed? So yes, it does work with any hospital bed. You can see. One factor that we have to factor in is the sizing of the mattress compared to the hospital bed. So we do have multiple sizes for both for the air mattress. We have a slightly bigger one and a smaller one. So we can measure how wide can the hospital bed take before determining what sizes of the air mattress to purchase instead. For the Toto turner, it won't be of a worry because Toto turner are usually generally smaller than most hospital beds or maybe all hospital bed. So it does work with any hospital bed. Yeah.
Okay, another one is, can we use Toto alone without any mattress, air mattress?
Yeah, Toto can be, you can't use Toto itself individually. It still have to be used together with mattresses on top. It doesn't necessarily have to be an air mattress. General mattress would work as well. However, a layer of mattresses would be recommended because it doesn't have a layer of any of hard foam surfaces as mattresses instead. It's just similarly to the air mattress itself. It is built of air cells inside. However, it doesn't have any foam cover below. Yeah.
So yes, Jackie, you cannot use Toto alone. Okay, to answer your question. Okay, from Amit Yo, is the cover for Toto easy to clean?
Yep. Same for Toto and both the air mattress. You can just clean it with any high concentration level of chlorine. The PU cover, which is the one covering, would works as well. So you can just clean it. We have tried a few chlorine or what before. So far, we don't have any cases of water or any cleaning solution seeping inside the air cells. So it's good to use.
Okay, Jackie, you're welcome. Yes, thank you for participating. I've seen you have a few questions. Thank you. And Mary Chong, do we need to place the head pillow when using it?
Okay. So yeah, for this we do have to use it together with the head pillow. Likewise for other mattresses as well. So we do use it with head pillows.
Yes.
So another question from Jackie is, where can I purchase for home use? You can scan the QR code for any inquiry. Put in your inquiry. We'll get back to you regarding for both the demo purposes as well as purchasing purposes. Or likewise, you can visit. You can just put in the inquiry form and we'll get back to you regarding the ways of purchasing for the air mattress or the Toto as well.
Okay, with that, I think we all cover most of the questions. Is there any more questions that we can answer? If there is more inquiries or questions, feel free to scan the QR code in front on the screen, and then you can write at the feedback and whatever inquiries in your mind, and just you can reach out on us on that. Okay. Is there any more? Can you see more questions? Is there any more question? I hope our viewers, thank you for your time. Because of the price, any discount will be appreciated. Waiting, hopefully, good vibes. Of course, Jane, we will give you a discount, especially when you join our webinar. Just scan the QR code, and sure, we will give a discount, especially for our new user. We will provide a discount. Just tell us that you find us on this live webinar of Take the Pressure Off from Patients and Nurses. Okay, with that, I think we really had a good time, and I hope you learned something from this. I've learned something, and thank you, Alvin, also for joining and sharing and doing the demo of the Toto and the Curocell. I think what is most important is to acknowledge and see, to assess first. We can prevent this 95% of the pressure ulcer. Okay, so with that, I think it's a bye bye time. I hope we can look forward to see you on our more upcoming live webinar. And with that, I just want to also know and say thank you to our partners in our BTS team, Calvin, Yip, and Yilin. Thank you so much for all your support. Thank you, our BMAC family. Thank you for all the support. And with that, I just want to say that at BMAC, we treat, we educate, and we care. Don't forget to scan the QR code. And thank you so much. And say bye and see you next time. Bye, everyone.
Thanks. Bye bye.